Welcome to the Gentleman's Talk, people. The tunes are blaring in the background. We are pumped. We're psyched. We're ready. Let's lift it. I'll be a rubber band. Yes, how the devil are you? I've got some tunes blasting out in the background today. Just keep me mellow, keep me chilled out. Let's get it to an acceptable level and then I can start talking to you. So, how the devil are you? How have you been? What have you been up to? Have you had a positive week? Have you had a positive weekend? Have you built something this weekend to make your next week better? That's the things we are trying to aim to do. We don't want baby steps, isn't it? It's baby steps. But that's sort of kind of taking our time, but at the end of the day, it's trying to remain as positive as you can, and I think that's a very delicate little feature at the moment, to try and be positive in what I can only describe as a very negative world we live around. We live around a lot of negativity at the moment. I mean, I haven't watched the news for a good 7-8 months now, and I can hand on heart say I've not missed it at all. I've not missed that negativity. Now, by saying I haven't watched the news, that's probably an element of a lie, in the sense I haven't physically sat down and watched the endless troll of negative shit on one platform or a multitude of platforms over a prolonged period. I haven't watched the news at 6, any shit like that. I mean, I've caught up on some of the headlines on the social media side of things, but that's just whatever crops across my fucking brow as I'm swiping up and down. So I haven't actively watched. I've kept, the reason I haven't done that is because I find it very negative. I find it very difficult, and it just really exacerbates my mental health when I start seeing the negativity around me. And then when I start dealing with negativity in work or negativity in personal friendly life, whatever, it's just a constant flow of negativity. So I knew that one of those days I was like, I need to cut some negativity out of my life. Well, let's stop watching the fucking news. It is what it is. It will be what it will be. If World War III starts, I'm not going to fucking stop it. I'm just a guy in fucking Salisbury, Wiltshire. I'm not going to be able to stop a World War III. So it's just one of those wins where I think, well, I'd rather not worry about it. But that's a personal preference, but I'd rather not worry about it. Plus, as well, I don't generally believe most of the stuff that goes on in the news. It's all directed to try and manipulate our minds a little bit, and I'm not sounding like one of those crazy fucking conspiracy theorists or one of these guys that walks around with fucking tin foil on my head. I just genuinely think it's a negative place, and I don't believe that it's the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, my lud. So for me, it's just something I've cut out. Anyway, as I break into, and it sort of leads me into negativity, I think leads me into a nice little segment where I want to start my dulcet tones, talking to you about time to reset. What does he mean by time to reset? Reset what? What are we resetting? Are we pressing a reset on the back of our fucking heads? No. Are we resetting the computer? Are we resetting the TV? No. I'm talking about reset in general, taking some time out, stepping back. For me, that has become apparent in abundance in the last 6 days. And I mean abundance. Quite a negative week. The way I could describe my week, as I would start it off with fuck, and then I would get to the middle of the week and go fuck this, and then I would get to the end of the week and go fuck off. That's probably how I describe my week. With an element of, it's really weird, but there's going to be an element in this structure of some goodness, but just showing you that we put on fake smiles, in a sense. So yeah, I've had a bit of a shit week, and I don't mean like, oh god, fucking hell, let's listen to James again. I think this has been coming. I think it really has. I've been on a downward spiral for a couple of 3 weeks, and I haven't really been able to pinpoint what it is. I'm always in a little state of discomfort with my mental health anyway, as we know. And I think that, it's kind of like I need to look out for the signs. And I was on a reflection walk about half an hour ago, and I actually said to myself, as I was reflecting, I was talking to myself internally so I don't look like batshit crazy to everyone that walks by me. And I sat there and I was like, James, what have you done wrong? And instantly I said, it's more like, what have you done fucking right, mate? Because you're a piece of shit. That's basically what I said to myself. I had the devil and the fucking angel on each shoulder arguing with each other. And I was like, these guys are going toe to fucking toe. I don't know who's going to win. But the devil certainly does have a little bit on his fucking side, in the sense of he had a good argument. And I'm talking as a third person here, so you can understand I've been batshit crazy. So it came to fruition. And what do I mean by that? Well, I was at work. It started off the week. It was a bit difficult week. I still hadn't fully recovered, and that was reflected in last week's podcast. And I was like, fuck, I've got to really just get myself together. I really got to find out what's going on. Just try and keep nurturing the good stuff, doing the good things, understanding I'm not the only person that's going through this. There's fucking loads and hundreds, millions of people going through this. I spoke to you last week about statistics flying through the fucking roof for fucking suicides because of the amount of pressure that we're on to deliver, to live in Britain especially, and I know the United States, and I know other countries are struggling massively in financial implications, people losing their houses. It's just an absolute fucking epidemic out there. And we talk about the pandemic that happened from COVID. I mean, this is a fucking pandemic. This is like people losing their livelihoods, people losing their fucking families, houses, living on the streets, you know. It's just absolute turmoil out there. People can't afford. I mean, I'm not kidding. I went the other day, and literally there was a bag of crisps, a big bag of crisps, and it was £1.75. And I was like, fucking hell. And my mate went, that's just the cost nowadays, mate. I was like, no, it's not the cost nowadays. Nothing's fucking changed in the process, mate. And it's almost like you're getting scammed all the fucking time. And that's where I alluded to earlier about news. What's real? What isn't real? It almost feels like that. And it's a very, very difficult place to be. I actually touched base with a good friend of mine, Mark, and we haven't spoke for a while. And then all of a sudden he said, how are you? And I was like, yeah, I'm not bad, mate. You know, fucking life's a bit shit at the moment. And he was like, I said, oh, it's all right, mate, just getting through. He said, life's just a bit shit at the moment. And I said, fucking shit is a polite word for it, mate. But that's the conversations. There's not a lot of positivity out there. We're still grinding through these fucking endless bills, these tax hikes, mortgage fucking increases. We're all just battling this shit, trying to make our fucking way through life, as well as do the other things that we should be doing, like the due diligence of being a good fucking dad or husband, partner, whatever you need to be. It's a difficult fucking place. It really is. And it sort of came to fruition a little bit for me, because I was sort of sat there going like, something is not right. And then it all came to a bit of a head. And I mean, I've had like a work. It works the kind of, I think the instigator for my stress, because what I do when I fucking battle in mental health, I plow into work. Why do I plow into work? Because work for me is an easy process. I learn it so well, it becomes second nature. So it consumes my thought processes, it stops me overthinking. But at the same time, it gives me enough of a challenge, because I have to keep performing, if you like. You know, you have to keep going. You have to keep trying to understand my discipline and everything else. So for me, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's an easy win for me to be able to manage my mental health when I know I'm in a dark place. But like I said, it came up to a little bit of a fucking head on Tuesday. Had a little bit of an email from my boss, and my reaction was fucking horrendous. I literally went, what the fuck do you want from me? And I fucking spat my dummy out. I listed a fucking list of incompetencies and stuff that he hasn't been fucking doing. And I was like, you know, when you just, I wrote the email, and, you know, I felt better because I'd written it and I'd got the problem off of my head, so it wasn't consuming me, and I got it on paper. The problem is I didn't put it on paper. I put it in an electronic email that I fucking pressed send, and I was like, and then I switched my laptop off because I felt content. And it was about half an hour later, and I went, bearing in mind, I will caveat that most of this is it was quite late at night for me, and I do deal with things emotionally. There was a catalyst of events. I was away from home. I wasn't in my safe space. I was in a hotel that I wasn't comfortable in. I hadn't had good fucking food. I'd been a long fucking day and a long drive. There was just an absolute catalyst of fucking problems. And, you know, when you go back to your hotel room, you don't realise when you're in a fucking horrible place. You may realise because maybe you felt this, but when you're in a horrible place and you're on your own, it's the fucking loneliest thing ever. Like, for me to be led in a hotel room, staring at a fucking ceiling, listening to the fucking whirring fan of an overused fucking air conditioning unit, just it's not nice now. Like, at the start of my job 18 months ago, I found it quite interesting. I was staying in different places, and I was going out for dinner with into different restaurants with my friends, colleagues. Well, colleagues, I call them colleagues, friends. And it was just a nice occasion because I got to experience food. It's part of the job, so you get it covered cost-wise. 19 months in, though, of doing that and about 25 different visits, 25 different hotels, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. You know, well, that's this year alone, by the way. That's not last year and the year before. That's just literally the 7 months of this year. So, you know, you kind of get to a point where that becomes very, very repetitive, but you need to do it for your job. And I think that Tuesday night I was horrendously lonely. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is not fucking fun for me. And then when I opened up the laptop and I got the email basically saying, you know, that I should be on my job, this should have been our problem sort of thing, after I'd already said 3 months ago, and this is where the build up is, 3 months ago that this needed escalating, this problem, and now all of a sudden it's on my desk with fucking 48 hours, and can you do something about it? That to me is fucking appalling, and I went stratospheric. My response was fucking diabolical. I mean, if you'd have read my response, you'd have fucking thrown up. You'd have gone, whoa, what a fucking hell, that's a rough one, mate. I mean, I am great with words, but I was like, basically, you're an incompetent fuck, and this is why. Happy to discuss. I was like, shit. And then anyway, I locked my laptop down and I was like, fuck, I felt content because I'd let out the anger, so to speak. And that's what I do. I use words and I'm like, fucking rah. But I was like, this is an absolute fucking incompetent from the senior management level. The lack of protection and understanding is unbelievable. This unprecedented negativity. That's basically what I'm saying. I was like, you fucking. And then it came to a point where I was reflecting on that incident. And I went, fucking hell, James, you need to log in, big boy. You need to recall that and hope that fucking Microsoft has your back. I logged in. Microsoft had my back. Microsoft, you have earned your extra fucking bit of stock and you've earned that little bit of money. You're a corrupt bastard sometimes, I think. But, you know, you've earned your fucking pennies on saving my life there. So I pulled that fucking back, mate, fucking got it back, recalled it, and then dealt with the fucking, didn't deal with the repercussions, but I felt a bit better because I'd explained it. But that was the start, the culmination that there's something not right. The week before, I'd been ill, and I didn't eat for 4 days. Fuck, I've never not eaten for 4 days. Even the time when I got food poisoning from an uncooked pizza with meat on it, I'd cooked at home, and I'd undercooked fucking, I don't even know how I did it. I really fucking don't. Either that or the pizza that I bought originally was out of date. But I got these 2 fucking wood-fired fucking, you know, fresh pizzas. But I didn't check the date to put them in, cooked them. Woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning with a horrendous stomach. Went into the fucking toilet, big white telephone. Huey's coming in, fucking lifted up the fucking toilet seat. A fucking absolute projectile fucking missile of mushed up fucking dough with cheese. And it was awful. Hey, I fucking felt it. Then I realised that, you know, that had happened a couple of times till about 8 o'clock in the morning. I kept projectile vomiting and just kept fucking, you know, being sick. But in that period of time, 2 other family members in the house had got ill from the same style of pizzas that we put in together. And they didn't manage on. But anyway, by 11 o'clock, I was eating again. And I remember at the time, my missus saying to me, James, fucking hell, you're throwing up a couple of hours ago. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good now. It's done. Fucking out the system. So anyway, that puts a little bit of context that when I eat food, I like my fucking food to the point where when I was ill last week, the only thing I could think about, as you know, is what have I missed? I've missed out on good food here. I want to go back to have the good food, the restaurant food, the stuff that I would normally have to pay for, but I don't because it comes to part of my trip. I was like, fuck, I missed out on that really full English breakfast. Hence the reason why I'm banging on the podge. So, you know, it's kind of like that came to a bit of a head, and then I just spoke to my colleague, and my colleague was like, "There's something fucking wrong, James. You know, you're not 100% right." And my colleague is absolutely fucking fantastic. And her husband has PTSD. He's an ex-serving soldier, and he has PTSD. So she knows the signs. She recognises the signs. She works with me close enough in the whole of our group to know when I'm not myself, when I'm not fucking jovial, and I'm not my normal self. And she said that the icing on the cake for her was Wednesday night. So Wednesday night, I normally have a snooker evening. So every Wednesday, I meet up with my mate Kieran, and we have a game of snooker, and it's nice. It gets us out the house. It breaks up the fucking week nicely. This week, because and this is the positive spin I'm saying, there's a lot of negativity, but there's a little positive spin in the middle. But again, that will feed into a bit more later on. And normally we turn up on a Wednesday, but we forgot to cancel. But because we had this event planned for the Friday instead, he was like, oh, I thought because I was coming around Friday, we were sacking Wednesday off. I was like, oh, maybe, mate, because we didn't discuss it. I oversight from me. I should have asked earlier. It's one of those things. Don't worry, I'm going to go there anyway, and have a good time. And I'll have a practice and a pint just to get me out the fucking flow, and I needed to do that anyway to get me out the flow, the negativity of what was going on around me. Anyway, I pitched up, and it was so different in such a bad way, because I mean I put on a brave face, and you'll see that since I've been ill and I've had people around from the outside looking in. You would think that there was nothing going on. You're like, because I'm still putting photos on Facebook. Yes, I'm an old timer, and I do that to capture my memories. And I've done that for the last 3 or 4 weeks. But that's been a facade. It's me going, okay, leave me alone, sort of thing. Everybody sees this, and that's what anybody that knows somebody with mental health that has had it for a long time will know that they have adapted and overcome with coping mechanisms to make it look like they're okay. And that is the God's honest truth. That is why mental health in men is probably so hard to really fucking understand. And I'm not saying that from a biased perspective. I'm saying it from the fact that we hide it so fucking well because we don't want anybody to see us, that we will put photos on Facebook of us, and when you look at or whatever social media platform it is, I'm just using that as an example, but for me, that's the details that someone will go to. It is like an addiction. It's like a heroin addict. There's people that go around with heroin or drugs or alcohol, whatever, and they can go through. You get people that are functioning alcoholics. They go to work and you go, oh, fucking Dave's fucking dead. His liver fucking packed up. And you found, oh yeah, Dave's been fucking alcoholic for like fucking last 50 years, mate. And you're like, well, I didn't fucking know. He hid it so well. And an example from that, we had a gentleman that used to work with us for a very prestigious company. And he used to come in and he used to work in the workshop environment. And he used to come in the morning. And this is a fucking true story. He used to come in the morning and he would stink of almost like white spirit, like acetone. And you'd be like, fucking hell, that boy's like, is he drinking this stuff? He's coming in at 8 o'clock. That guy's, and it's almost, you put it down to maybe he spilt a bit on his fucking trousers because he was in a workshop. We were working with chemicals all the time. You're working with white spirits, acetones, all sorts of different fucking liquids and spirits and cleaners and all sorts. And you were like, oh, maybe he spilt a bit on his trousers. Lazy fuck hasn't, he hasn't done anything about it. And because that went on week in, week on, week out. That's the word. Week on, week in, week out. Because it went on and on and on. But you knew the workshop environment he was in, you easily had an option for it, but it was so fucking strong. It was like that pure vodka smell. When you've been tanking down vodka and you come in the next day and your missus or your friend goes, fucking hell, mate, you stink of booze. And it's coming out your pores. It's fucking leaking out. That proper. And I've been there and I've gone like, literally, you're sweating and all you can taste is fucking vodka or whatever spirit you've been drinking. You're like, fucking hell, that was a rough time last night. No wonder. But it was like that. But you put it down to the work environment. Transpires after he'd had a breathalyzer test because somebody did an alcoholic. He had a breathalyzer test and a blood test because somebody suspected it. Somebody just went in the management. I just need to double check because you're the only person that smells like this. No one else does. And even people were saying, and because it was so strong, people were just like, fuck it, someone needs to keep him away. Or I think maybe someone complained about him going in office, probably. That's the likely story. Pulled him in, transpires, he fully admitted he was a functioning alcoholic. But he was fucking he was literally, he was working on fucking, engine parts and all sorts of stuff. And you were like, fucking hell, this guy's like a functioning alcoholic, but obviously he lost his job. rightly so, because he's not being compos mentis on the fucking job. But it just goes to show how you can hide things so easily. Men have that ability to do that, and even to the point where all of us as men didn't worry about his well-being, didn't worry that he looked fucked, didn't worry that we all thought, fucking, you sure that's not alcohol? Because I remember having conversations going, nah mate, that's fucking booze, you know, and you just walk off. You don't question him though. You go, maybe he's drinking that shit, mate. To be honest, mate, if I was in this job, I'd drink that fucking shit too. And you have a bit of banter. In actual fact, the guy's a fucking full-blown alcoholic. Why? Found out that his missus fucking left him. Completely destroyed his fucking life. So he just turned to booze, but couldn't afford to live in his house. So he had to go to work. He was putting in extra hours. But he was fucking literally, you know, drinking on the job. That's how strong it was. It was like he got out the car in the morning, tanked a shot of vodka and went for it. Went fucking, I'm in balls deep, mate, here. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it's easy. What I'm saying is that the gravitas, the whole opinion is the fact that we have the ability to hide things. I'm a fucking guru at hiding shit. A literal guru at hiding shit. And then all of a sudden, boom, it comes out. But it comes out with passion, with emotion, with anger, with resent. It's like a giant fucking bomb that just goes badoosh. And you need to grip that beforehand. And I've normally got coping mechanisms. I've spouted off about coping mechanisms for the last fucking 2 years or 19 months. So I know the coping mechanisms. And like I said, I was reflecting. What have you done right, James? Fucking, what have you done wrong, James? What have you done right? Not fucking what you done wrong. Fucking hell, mate. You've missed everything. You missed the trick here. You're not doing any of it. And I've watched the demise of myself. I've watched myself put on a stone in weight. I've watched myself fucking drinking. I've watched myself sleeping later. I've watched myself actively, physically pushing people away. And that come to fruition today. Literally an hour ago, I have just had 2 arguments, full-blown fucking arguments, with 2 people that I didn't need to have arguments with. To the point where I've actively gone, like, I've basically said, you're a fucking arsehole. You know, fucking leave me alone sort of thing. I'm not fucking dealing with it. And I went on a walk because I knew I'd done this with these 2 people via text message. Basically, it was just like, fuck off. You know, I can't be arsed with you. And that's me pushing another 2 people away. And I need to go for a walk, mate. There's something not fucking right here. And I went on the walk and I wasn't going to do this podcast as I always do because I'm fucking battling the constant fucking emotion of mental health. And I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, fucking hell, this is tiring me out now. This is just fucking exhausting. First off, you thought it was the sun that was knocking you back. Now you've got a bit of sun, you're still finding things. You're pushing people away even though you know what to do with the coping mechanisms. What are you fucking playing at, mate? And it is like that. It becomes Groundhog Day. I battle shit. I was actually chatting to my mum on Friday because she rang me on a week ago on Sunday. She was like, yeah, how are you? I haven't seen you for 3 weeks. She only lived 8 miles down the fucking road. And I was like, yeah, sorry, mate. Mum, you know, I ain't fucking bothered. She tried to ring me. I was at work, so we didn't talk. And then all of a sudden, she was like, she spoke to me on Thursday, texting me. And I was just like, yeah, fucking hell, I can't be arsed this fucking shit. And it was almost like this. I knew I was in a negative place. I was batting my fucking mum off. I was like, just fucking leave me alone. Batting friends off. And then even to the point where I'd organised, like I said, I had a night in the Clock and Balls. And if anyone knows what the Clock and Balls is, if you don't by now, you will fucking know. Because do you know what? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this on Facebook. So jump onto the Gentleman's Talk, on Facebook, the Gentleman's Talk, and I'll put photos of the Clock and Balls. It's a fucking, I'm trying to turn it into a famous bar amongst my friendship group, amongst my little bubble of good people. So I've created a wall. It all started in the pandemic time, and it's just come along. It's and for me, it's a very, very positive place. I'm trying to create some amazing memories in here. So when I come in, I genuinely feel comfortable in here because I know that when I shut the front door to this place and I look around, I know the amount of fun fucking times and good conversations. I've never once, and I tell you fucking now, never once had a negative time in the Clock and Balls bar. Not once. Never have I been too drunk. Never have I been an arsehole. Never has there been a fucking fight, anything like that. It is literally just a fun place. And that helped me this week. That helped me get through to Friday because I knew that Friday was coming along and I had a great positive night ahead. So Kieran came round and I had a fantastic, fantastic evening. And the next day I put the photos on. And again, the facade continued. because then today broke in and I was like, fuck life again. I was like, fuck this. Can't be asked. And then, like I said, started arguing with these two people. One of them is a very good friend of mine I haven't spoke to for absolutely fucking months. Completely rogue. We've gone completely sideways. It is what it is. That happens in life. I get that and accept that. But of course, I took offense to something that had happened, and I think it was my mindset to a degree. I think there's an element of something in it, but to a degree, my mindset has made me do that. And I've watched myself systematically break myself down again. And do you know what it was? It's coupled in with Tuesday, my argument with work, coupled in with Wednesday, where I remember being sat there. I was in the snooker hall, and it felt the loneliest I'd felt in a long time, to the point where I remember being sat in the corner with a beer, staring at the snooker table in complete and utter silence, because it was a quiet little snooker place in the back of a recreation club, and there was nothing going on. I just sat there, and I'd never felt that fucking lonely in a long time, and I didn't need to feel lonely, but that's the place I'd put myself mentally. And that's the fucking, as I've always said to you, that's the beauty of mental health, is you don't know when it's going to fucking smash you in the face. You try to manage and counter negativity with your positivity as much as you can, but sometimes it can just consume you. And what I knew was a positive place for me to go on a Wednesday with my mate and have a pint. We put the worlds to rights and we play a game of snooker, and I fucking love playing snooker. It's one of my favourite games. And it turned into on that day a negative experience. I sat there going, I am lonely. I almost got transported back to when I was sat in those fields contemplating whether I wanted to be here or not. And I know that's a real fucking strong sentence there. It really is a strong sentence, but it's true of what I felt, my emotion then, the lowness that I'd got myself through not doing the right things. Where that had taken me was fucking a very, very, very horrible place instantly, that was in a place that has always been a positive place. And it just goes to show that it's almost like when you're in, I've described it like this before, but when you have poor mental health, it is almost like a fog. And that's why I've got a lot of respect for people that have mental health problems. And for me, that's kind of like, I understand it now because I've been battling it for so long, and I've actively been engaged in my own mental health, actively to try and understand it, to find out what annoys me, who annoy me, what annoys me, how do things annoy me. I'm constantly looking at that because I need to constantly navigate the minefield of mental health, and sometimes I have to know when to step away. And rightly so. A clear example of that was the spark in the argument was something I'd seen on Facebook, and I instantly put down and I wrote a message to this person I know very well. And it was a negative fucking message. I deleted it 4 times until I got to what I thought was going to be an impactful statement, but enough to cause an argument. And it did. And that's my mind. That's the way my mind went. I was like, I'm gonna ruin this friendship now. And then the other time when and the other text message I had from a friend who brought up another friend who's fucked me off in my life, like royally fucked me off, almost lost my career over this person. And they're still friends, which is fine. I don't have a problem. We're friends, but that person is still a friend of the group. I get that. That's fine. But it affected me when you mentioned it. And I turned around and said, look, why are you mentioning that person, knowing what they've done to me, how they've affected me? And it just turned into a fucking huge argument. I was like, look, if you're not going to fucking value my own mental health, and I don't want to be taken back to those negative places, I was protecting my own mental health. And then that transpired into, right, fucking chill, take a chill pill, mate. I'm like, what do you mean take a chill pill, buddy? I'm fucking 41, almost 42. What do you mean take a chill pill? We're not fucking 12 anymore, mate. You're affecting my mental health by bringing that thing up and talking about that person. Do you see what I mean? And that's where, yes, I reacted negatively. I hold my hand up. And by negatively, I mean I've gone, don't fucking talk to me ever again then, you prick. Because that's where it escalated to. I was like, look, mate, just fuck off. I don't want to ever talk to you again. You're another one in the pile of fucking fuck offs. Do you know what I mean? If you're not going to respect and that's where it got to. Could I have diffused it? Absolutely. Absolutely could have diffused it and carried on with life. my mental health, and I'm not blaming my mental health fully, because at the end of the day, I've got to take ownership and I take accountability, and I do. The reason I'm talking about it is because I take accountability for it. It affected me, my mental health, bringing up that person. And I was like, yes, I've had a negative reaction, an emotional reaction, which is why I know I'm still in a fucking dark place. I still need that time away. But ultimately what I did was, yes, I've overreacted to a situation that could have been mitigated. If my mental health would have been better, would I have mitigated that better? Absolutely. Because I would have just gone, yeah, nice, mate. Hope they're all right. Fucking move on. Doesn't affect me. Let's not talk about them again, though. Do you know what I mean? Would have put that in a fucking probably a politer way, rather than going, you mentioned him, what do you want out of this conversation? Fuck off, don't ever talk to me again, you prick. You brought up emotions, didn't you? Fucking, you know, and that's where I got to. And that's both those messages to those two people happened within the last 2 hours. And I was like, fucking hell, James, you're on the fucking road to destruction, big boy. You need to fucking take your foot off the gas. You've got the fucking nitrous going, buddy. You're fucking plowing them down. That's literally what was going on. I was like, you can fuck off. I'm disengaging from you. I'm disengaging from you. You can fucking suck my dick. You can fuck off. What are you talking about, you knobhead? That's literally where I've got to. I was like, right, mate. Let's fucking slow your roll, big boy. Let's fucking take your foot off the gas like your body's fucking told you. Let's start resetting a little bit. And that breaks me into what I was talking about, time to reset. So what I've done is I've taken full control of this, because I could see, well, it's not hard to not fucking see. It's pretty much fucking there. It's clearly apparent, but at the same time, I could see this is going into a full-blown meltdown. I could see this was going to be an anger bomb waiting to happen. I could see I was going to get to the point where I was like, fuck you, fuck life. I cannot be fucking arsed with all of this bullshit. And I know that when I get when I get that little fire lit under me, and it starts getting a little bit of fucking steam up, you know what I mean? The flames start kicking in, and we start fucking... Do you know what happens to me? Have you ever seen that fucking clip on fucking Facebook Reels or whatever, or Instagram, whatever, maybe TikTok maybe? The one where he puts the turbo fan onto the fucking fire and then just fucking accelerates air and just completely and utterly overwhelms. So it turns into a fucking flaming, aggressive nightmare bin. You know, the bin where they put the fucking thing in it. That's like me. And then what I do is I stick the turbo on the side of me and I go, let's fucking go full turbo, mate. I'm fucking not stopping either, buddy. Fucking NOS is in, turbo's on. I'm fucking going for it. You know, I'm literally going to fuck you all over. And that's what I get. That's where I get to. I go, fuck all of yous. I don't need you. I can fucking get through life without you. I've done all right so far. No, you haven't, James. What makes you think you've done all right so far? You've had 3 suicide attempts, mate. I wouldn't say you've got it handy. I wouldn't say you've got your fucking hand on this, mate. I think you need a little bit more help. And that's the fucking angel side of me that's kicking off. That's fucking Barry White on the fucking side here, singing in my ear. You ain't got this, buddy. Stop pushing these people away. You're being negative, fucking Big Frank. And that's what I do. So I stepped back and actively engaged in myself. And I went on a reflection. Can I undo some of this stuff? It probably will. It'll probably... there'll be a point where I'll apologise, because I'm getting good at apologising for my mental health. I shouldn't have to, but I do. It is a fucking constant battle. Like I said I spoke to my mum, last week. She was like, how are you and all this, and I was like, yeah, I'm all right. I said, I've not been great, my mental health. I said, I've struggled a little bit. I'm telling people that, they're fucking shit at their job. And my mum was like, oh dear. I was like, yeah. And she's like, it gets like that sometimes. I was like, no, I don't think you realise, just how bad this can get. And I was like, but I'm trying to write things down. And she goes, oh, that's a really good fucking way of doing it. Write things down, get things off your head. So I showed her what I'd written down, 4 pages just in the space of the 2 hours before texting her. And hold on, it's gone a bit stratospheric on the fucking tunes in the background. I was talking over that, and she said, I sent her the photo of it, and the fucking 4 pages, 6 pages, I think it was actually double-sided, and she went, James, none of that makes sense. And it was literally like an email I needed to write. It was things I needed to do. It was a response to my PowerPoint presentation. It was things I needed to remember to pay. It was just a fucking absolute fucking download on my brain. I was like, Mum, I need to just chill out. I've got tomorrow off. I'm just fucking needed to get everything off my head. And she was like, wow. But that looks a mess. I was like, that's in my head, mate. And you don't realise just how when you're in that situation, when you're in a bit where you've tried to fucking hide this, you've done everything you can to cover it up, the cracks start showing, and then you start degrading and you start then pushing people away. You get angry, you get argumentative, the world's a negative place, people are a negative place, and you just go fucking spiraling out of control. And it doesn't matter what you've got to do, you've got to try and kick in those learned habits, those coping mechanisms. If you don't kick them in, you're never going to win. You're never going to win. And instantly, so I've taken some time off. I literally didn't even ask my boss, in a sense. I did ask him, obviously, but I just went, I'm taking a week and a half off. If you've got any actions before next fucking Wednesday, please send them to me. But otherwise, I'm having a low-key 3 days while I wrap up everything, and I'm taking a week and a half off. I'm going to go fishing. My mum and dad have lent me their fucking car, their second car, to go cruising around in, so I can go off and do things. I'm going to go and play a bit of golf. I'm just going to absolutely do me. I'm just going to do me for a week and a half. I'm going to fucking completely shut down. I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to do early morning swims. I'm going to take the fucking dog with me. I'm just going to have a real mental reset. Completely and utterly reset myself. And whilst I'm there, because one of the things I struggle with, I think is probably my deepest struggle, I would say, to date. My deepest struggle is I don't know what my purpose is. I still don't know what I need to do. So I know, for instance, that to give you an example, it's probably easier to give you an example to try and tie a story into it and to give you something that's relatable. But so I love DIY. So every time I know that someone's coming around to my house, and this is something I've learned about myself over the last year, every time someone comes around my house and I invite them round, the week to the weekend before, I start doing things around the house. So this Friday morning, I woke up early in the morning with vigor, gusto, spirit, because I knew my mate was coming round. I was like, right, we're going to have an outside. It's going to be a lovely day. I'm going to build a tee box so I built a little tee box, as in like for golf. So teeing off. So I built a little 2-inch by 2-inch, 2-inch high, by 1.5 meters by 2 meters platform, astroturfed it, and then I'm playing chipping, and we're only talking fucking like 10 feet. It's not massive, but one of those chipping games that you can chip. You've probably seen them on the internet, where you chip and hit the little plastic ball, and it's covered in Velcro that sticks to a mat. But it's great. We were playing closest to shot, 5 rounds. The person who loses does a shot, and it was fucking brilliant. But I built the tee box. And I built a rustic table that morning out of offcuts. Just went and got a load of offcuts and a couple of nice planks of wood from the fucking wood, from fucking Wixies, and then job done. But I only did that because I knew who was coming round. But I felt in a great place. As soon as I didn't have that purpose, as soon as I didn't have that, Saturday spiraled, Sunday, today spiraled. And I just went, fucking hell. And that's my biggest struggle, is I don't know what my purpose is. And that's when I try my hardest to expose myself. I try my hardest to go, hopefully someone will recognize something here and they'll push me in the right direction and I'll enjoy it, and away we go. I've lost complete enthusiasm for my artwork. It's absolutely completely gone. My mum said to me today, so son, we've got 14 of your art pieces and they're absolutely stunning. I don't know whether she said that because my mum probably did. Probably said, the same thing as when I was singing in the shower, son, you should be on fucking Pop Idol. Of course I fucking should, mum. Of course I fucking should. I got a fucking voice of an angel. Anyway, so I don't know whether to trust her in that sense. I don't know whether she means it or not. Anyway, she says, I've got 14, mate. They're all collecting dust upstairs. What do you want to do about them? I was like, I'll be honest, I've proper lost all enthusiasm for them. And even to the point she was like, well, why don't you sell them for like the cost of what it costs you, just to recoup that, fucking £400-500 you invested. I was like, yeah, should do really, but I've got no enthusiasm, so I'm fucking struggling. So, and that's the battles, and that's the problem with mental fucking health. It just fucking keeps sideswiping you, smacking you in the side of the fucking face. Luckily, I've been bailed out a lot. I mean, my colleague, absolutely fucking fantastic she is. She literally pulled me from the depths. She was like, what is this email you're sending, mate? This isn't fucking you. And again, I think that is kudos, because she lives with her husband who's pretty much identical to me in the same problems we have with PTSD. And different areas, but of course they manifest in similar ways and the similar ways that we are. So she can spot the signs and symptoms very, very easily. And a lot of the time she says to me, you need to take a fucking break, James. And I'm like, you're right, I do need to take a break. The last time I had a break was March, and we're now in fucking middle of July. Yes, I think I need a break. But it's so easy. And this is the beauty of men, I think, is we don't show the signs. We don't crack very often. If we do crack, we crack in our own. We crack behind closed doors. We hide everything. We mask it with a fucking facade, a big charade, if you like. You know, we batter like stuff on, like let's batter someone. I'm having a great time on social media. Yeah, job's really going amazingly on fucking LinkedIn. You know, TikTok. I'm doing great stuff. Look at the fun stuff I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? We smash this. Snapchat. I'm not on Snapchat, but you know, there's people that use it obviously. But you smash all these Instagram. You smash all these positives on. But are you truly positive? We don't know. We never know what's going on behind closed doors. I think I'm pretty openly emotional in compared to most men. I absolutely wear my fucking heart on the sleeve, and I just want the best for everybody. I just want everybody to be happy. The downside is you do get taken advantage of a lot, and I think that's my negativity is when I'm in an angry place, I realise you get taken advantage of a lot by people that you thought you could trust and value. So it becomes a ball of negativity, and that's ultimately what's happened to me. You know, and I think it's so easy to hide it and go to everybody in the morning. Yeah, I'm good, guys. Have an amazing day. Sound fucking great. As soon as you put the phone down, you're fucking almost ripping your fucking face off with just anger, or you're crying your eyes out internally. You're feeling like, you know, you go to a snooker hall to play snooker where you normally play every week, and you're sat there going, I fucking just can't do this, mate. This is just horrendous. I mean, I'm looking at this place and it's feeling awful. It feels horrible. I'm drinking a pint that tastes like fucking, it tastes nasty. It tastes horrible. It hasn't got the same fruit flavour that it normally does on a Wednesday. I'm saying sorry. I'm undermining myself. I'm undoing all my hard work. I'm belittling myself. This is what I'm doing internally. I'm systematically breaking myself down. And then outside I'm going, hi, see you later, guys. Yeah, I'll see you next week. Hey, have a fucking good one, buddy. And then you're walking in the car going, fuck this shit. And that's the reality of mental health. We hide it so well. Like addiction, we hide it so fucking well. And that's the scary thing, is you just don't know. You never really know. And even now, I think that maybe with people that are close to me would know when I'm not right when I start messaging or talking to them in certain ways. I think it's pretty open and obvious because they know I'm not a horrible person. If you're close to me, you'll know I'm not. But I think that's the true reflection, is if I start becoming like that, then there's something not right. And that's probably the easiest sign for people around me. But again, you've got to be in my close network for me to be able to divulge that information by articulating myself the right way. Otherwise, again, I can just fucking hide it and go, yeah, whatever. I don't really fucking care, mate. Good to see you. Yeah, nice. So do you know what I mean? It's so easy to hide it that men can go in, day out to fucking hide it. We can crack on. We don't show that flicker. What we do is we go, fuck it, I'm going to get drunk, or fuck it, I'm going to go and do this, I'm going to go and do that, I'm going to do stupid things, I'm going to go and fucking drink and drive, or I'm going to go and do some drugs, whatever it may be. You do these things, and you're constantly battling, and it gets to the point where you're like sat there like I did in that place that was the snooker hall that was supposed to be, and the reason I'm so prominent about that is that's supposed to be a good place for me to break my week up. I went, this is fucking awful. This is just surrounded in fucking sorrow and sadness. It's just, and I just hated it. I just fucking hated it. And then that knock-on effect then, because you know that there's something you enjoy isn't there, and you move forward and you're like, fucking hell, this is fucking dangerous shit, this is. And it's so easy to be transported back to a place of negativity that I don't want to. So today, the beauty of today was I was in a horrible place. I went on a reflection walk after I'd articulated myself poorly to some people I know. And I went for a fucking walk, and I went, you got to fucking just go through some motions here. What's going on? What's doing this? And I straight away, I was like, right, you need to do podcast, Jimbo, because you know that makes you feel good. That gives you a platform to vent and express frustration. and explain to people that we're, it's a way of helping. So I loved that. I was like, straight away, okay, I'm going to do that. So, and then straight away I was like, right, I need to plan what I'm doing. I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to fucking do some early morning sea swims. I'm going to try and get my mental health just progressing. I'm going to switch everything off. I'm going to shut down everything that I should be doing for the week. And I'm just going to concentrate on myself and having some me time, some time to chill, do some things that I find fun. And that's what I'm going to do. And that to me is that's what I need. And that literally throws me back into why we need that time to reset. But I'm not talking about resetting with people or reset. I'm talking about taking time for you to reset. Understand when you're sad. Why are you sad? What's making you sad? Can you do anything about that? These are all questions that I ask myself. And if you're sad, but the only way you can get down to the cusp and the real detail of your mental health and what's making you sad is you've got to hit that motherfucker head on. And that's what you've got to do. And sometimes, you see, Wednesday is a prime example. I didn't hit it head on, and it's turned something I enjoy into a negative in my brain. That's what it's done. I remember going there, smacking those fucking balls on the back of the pocket. Just didn't give a fuck. I wasn't going fucking. I didn't give a shit if they were going in. I just wanted to fucking hit them. I just wanted to hit them hard. And I wanted to hear that fucking kadoosh off the back of the pocket as it fucking struck in. I was like, that's what I fucking want. And that's not what it should be. That's not how you play. But that's what I wanted. So I was like, give yourself some fucking time, mate. That's what you need. I was getting stressed. I've got a twitch in my eye that I've never had before. And I was like, these are all stress. These are all stress. Your body's calling you, mate. Body's telling you. Fucking switch off for a bit. But I can't do that. I can't twat that fucker head on until I switch off my laptop. I tell everybody I'm going away. I tell everybody I'm on leave. Don't fucking talk to me. Unless, and I don't mean it in a negative way, but just give me a bit of space. I switch my phone off for a couple of fucking 3 days. That's what I need to do. I need to switch all that off and just concentrate on some stuff, some well-being stuff for me. Going for the walks and reflecting and actually putting some headphones on, pulling myself into that fucking mindfulness zone and going, what's going down, Jimbo? What's going down? What don't you like? How's your job? Okay, could be better. And just working systematically through my things and then ticking the positives and then the negatives, trying to work out in my mind a structure to try and eliminate that negativity. How can I eliminate that? What's making me sad? Can I deal with that fucking head on? And I heard a quote, actually, in fact, I'll share that in a bit. I'll share that at the end. But there's a lot of negativity, and I kind of go, and that's what I've got to do. I've got to smash that fucking head on. I've got to go, right, what are you doing? What's making you sad? What's upsetting me? Is it outside influences? Can I push those outside influences away? Can I change my job? Can I change my friends? Are my friends affecting me? Can I express to them, guys, I think you're fucking, am I being a bit unrealistic for expecting this? Have I done something to offend you? It's kind of like, they're very, very important things. And I think that's what I've got to understand. Because at the moment, I'm pushing people away. I'm like, fucking, I don't want, people, the weird thing is, more people are contacting me than ever, and I mean that in a positive sense. I actually got a conversation with a very, very, very old school, but he was the pinnacle of my friendship when I was younger. A guy called Steph, and he's absolutely got in contact with me again, and he just messaged. I'm back on Facebook. I've looked for you, and we need to go out. And he was my fucking best mate at school, if you like, and we hung around for like fucking 3 years straight. It was good friendship, and then we just, obviously, like anything, you grow up, you move aside, different colleges, joined up, whatever you did, and we just never saw each other again. But we touched base again, and it was really nice. So I've had people like that come back into my life, and that's a lot of positivity. But I'm just sat here now with my negative Nancy head on, going, fuck you, I'm not going to talk to you. So I need to get down to the cusp. I need to break into the detail. I need to get down to the I and ore. I need to start finding out what's fucking going wrong with me. And that's where I'm at. I'm like going, what is your problem? Can we fix this? Jim will fix it. And that's taking it right back to a fucking bad stage in the 80s from fucking BBC TV, you pedo. Don't know why I went there. Sorry, but I had to caveat the fucking fact that I should never take a reference to Jimmy Savile. Fucking hell, James. Anyway, that's the 80s for you. But you know, and that's what I need to do. I need to hit that head on, and that's what I'm going to do. Go fishing, go for some walks. I'm going to go for some swims in the sea, take the pooch out, and give him some fresh sea air. And I'm going to just give myself the me time I need to understand where I'm going. Is the journey I'm on at the moment? Does it need a little tweak? Do I need to find a new job? Is this job, I've done this job now for almost 2 years. Is it kind of boring me now? I need to fucking move aside a little bit. And there's a lot of this going on in my head. And I'm like, yeah, I think that could be a factor. But at the same time, I also need to express myself with the people around me that if they affect me, I need to go, mate, I feel a bit off put by that, or that's a bit of a negative situation. And I should be able to express myself without repercussions to a degree, as long as it's not nasty. But anyway, that's mental health. It's a magical thing. I'm gonna tell you this quote. So I heard this thing about if you've got a problem with me, send me a text or text me, and we can sort it out. If you've got a problem with me and don't have my number, you don't know me well enough to have a problem with me. And that's a really good saying, isn't it? I heard it on social media from some famous guy. I can't remember his name. I'm old. I'm almost 42, so I don't really give a fuck about fame and fortune to that degree. I just, you know, it is what it is. But it was a very, very true statement. You know, it's kind of breaking in. But yeah, time to reset. And I think that is, for me, a massive, massive important step into any men's mental health, or anyone's mental health for that matter, is taking time out to reset. Because mental health adjusts all the time. It is a fluid, you know, there is an element of fluidity to it. There's also an element of, when you take ownership, is understanding, you need to understand your own mental health. And I understand it. And, you know, I text my missus last week and I said, I'm really sorry. My mental health's not been fucking great. And, you know, I know for a fact it isn't, because I'm missing things. I fucking completely forgot to prep for my daughter's birthday. Luckily, my wife's amazing. She had it in the bag. And I just bought some things at the end, but it didn't feel like it should have done. I didn't feel like I did my bit. But she texted me and said, James, you know, your mental health will always be a worry for me, because I know how dark you can get. She said, but I just try to make it as easy as possible for you. And that is an amazing person in general. That isn't just a wife. That's just an amazing person, because she acknowledges that I do struggle with a lot of things, and it does. I have good days, I have bad days. You know, I have good weeks, I have bad weeks. You know, it's the way it goes, and that's the reality of it. It is a constant battle, and I've got fucking notebooks all over the fucking place with bits written down, scribbles here and there. If you look back at and I'm keeping all my stuff, but if you look back at my notebooks in fucking 20 years time, I'm like to think, if I showed that to a psychiatrist, they'd be like, mate, you're fucking crazy. I think they probably know that anyway. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. I think it's been amazing to talk to you. I hope you're all doing really well. I really do. I hope you're all amazing. I hope you are building a better future of yourselves and looking after yourselves and not doing what I'm doing. Because it's so important. The reason I'm telling you this, the reason I open up so much, and I've got some listeners from, again, hi Ghana, hi Canada, hi America, hi the UK listeners, hi everybody. Again, I've got a lot of friends following this. You know, I've got loads of good mates, and I know I mention them all the time. I try to mention all my friends as much as possible, but they're all invaluable to me. But ultimately, the reason I do this is the reason I sit in front and just spout a load of bullshit off, is because I want to make mental health better. I think it's so easy to just forget, and I think that there's still loads of people that think it's you know, a myth. I think there's still a lot of people that think you just need to fucking man up, and I try to man up every fucking day, trust me. And there's days where I don't want to get out of bed. There's days where positives in my previous time have turned into negatives, as you've rightly heard in the story there. There's loads of things that can be done. We can't mitigate that, and that's a good safety word because I love safety. We can't mitigate that, you know, as much as we'd like. We really, really can't, because it is a constant fucking battle. It's horrible. I don't know how to describe it. There's days where I'm just sat there staring at my fucking screen or staring at the fucking ceiling, and you're just trying to get motivation. I stare at, you know, people saying to me, James, what are you doing with this artwork? I don't fucking care. Stick it in the bin. It's been and done for me. That's how brutal I get with things. And it's just, I don't know, it's difficult. It's very difficult, but I want people to acknowledge that it is difficult, and I want people to understand that the reason I'm talking about this is to show you that I acknowledge it's difficult, and you should acknowledge it is difficult. But at the same time, things like, I heard this quote. In fact, I'm going to read this out for you, and it might resonate with you just before I close play. It says, and this was said by another famous person: "Remember, suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem." Now, there's two really important messages in there, isn't there? The first one is permanent. It's the big word. If you were going to look for an exam question, there's two key words in that sentence. The key words are permanent, and the key words are solution, and they are, temporary. I was trying to think if I was trying to say it in my head again then. No, so permanent and temporary. So they're the two words. They're the two words that you need to look after, and basically they're the wrong way around. Do you know what I mean? You if you commit suicide, you're permanently not here anymore, and that's not right. You're a 1 in a million person. You deserve a good life, whatever capacity that may be. You deserve to walk around with a smile on your face. You deserve to do whatever it takes to have a smile on your face. And if that does mean cutting down some wages, or that does mean giving up something that you don't want to give up, alcohol or whatever, drugs, whatever it may be, to give yourself a better chance at saving money to have a better life. And ultimately, not even about money, but saving your health to be able to go through life with a smile on your face is the most important thing, because at the end of the day, the temporary part is the fact that mental health is never going away. Everybody feels mental health problems. Every fucking person will feel mental health at some point in their life. I don't fucking care whatever you say. You will feel some sort of stress. You will feel the severity factor is the key part here, and the permanency is the key part there. Permanent PTSD is something that's just not going to go away. My brain has decided it doesn't want to process anything, so it just wants to be an angry ball of mental craziness. The ADHD isn't going away. It's a structure of my brain. It's the way that my thought process is. I can take chemicals that can subside that. Do I want to? No, because ultimately I do like the drive that ADHD gives me, but I don't like the crippling after effects, or I don't like the crippling depletion of serotonin that also comes with PTSD, where it fucking hides the serotonin and the happiness, and everything's negative. So it's a double-edged sword. You've got people with autism, you've got people with ADHD, Asperger's. There's all sorts of plethora of mental health illnesses, and we're all trying to work together to show positivity, and ultimately, if I can be part of the journey to highlight that these are issues that we need to look out for, these are issues that we need to support, and these are issues that we need to be together with and collaborate and be in cohesion. Great words there. If I can highlight that and be part of that journey, that's a really important perfect for me, really important stat for me. Really, that's the reason I do this, is because I am just the average Joe Blogs. I'm nothing special in any shape or form. I just try my best. That's all I can do in life. And if I try my best, and everyone goes, "Oh, you're talented," and I'd say, I don't mean that in a big-headed way, but people say you can do this and this. I do this and this because I learn. I want to learn. I learn, and I want people to feel happy, and I want to create things to make people happy. But ultimately, I do stuff for myself, and that's never going to go away. All I ask are the close people around me that I allow in through my security and my vetting process, if you like. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean it as in trust, gaining that trust. If I let you in, and then help me, and I'll help you. And I think that's the important message in all of this, is we don't always get it right. It is temporary. There will be a part in your life where this will feel like nothing. But ultimately, you'll get there faster if you're doing it with the right people and doing the right things. That's the important part. Anyway, have an amazing week. I look forward to talking to you. I'm going to talk to you again a little bit over the week I'm off. Hopefully give you some little updates, maybe some little lives and stuff, just to see how I'm getting on, just a little bit of positivity. So I look forward to that as well. So take care of yourself, and I will speak to you all soon. Have an amazing week. Love you. Bye.